next speaker is Alan Danley. Of all of Alan's hobbies, two that he is most passionate about are teaching Taekwondo and its tenets: courtesy, integrity, perseverance, self-control, and indomitable spirit. Alan also likes to work with underprivileged kids, and together with his wife, in a staunch anti-bullying advocate, he is a staunch anti-bullying advocate. Alan wants to increase awareness as to the sources of the problem and offer some proven strategies in dealing with this issue in a manner that is helpful to both bullies and victims and their parents. Alan's speech today is entitled Understanding Bullying in 2015. This is speech number 3 from the Competent Communicator Manual. Please welcome Dan.
Thank you, Toastmasters and honored guests. This is something I'm very passionate about. I was asked to do this before I even started here, and this is my grand debut. Imagine you're back in high school, and you have your friends, you have your relationships, you have your normal teenage stuff that's going on. You're kind of shy, introverted, you're not too sure of yourself, but you're happy and things are going pretty well. You come out of 6th period class, and all of a sudden you're confronted by 5 people from another school. They surround you and they tell you, we're here to kick your butt, just like we told you we would. What do you do? Bullying is the oldest history itself. For thousands of years, people have sought out all sorts of reasons to belittle, intimidate, and otherwise victimize others who they deem, for whatever reason, unworthy, or repress them. According to the National Anti-Bullying Institute, over 1/3 of our kids report being bullied by the time they hit high school. 55% of those report that the reason they were bullied was because of something to do with their appearance. 81% of all kids that identify as being gay, lesbian, or transgender, 81% report having been bullied by the time they reach their freshman year. The reason I chose this topic is because I was bullied horribly myself growing up in Sebastopol. And back then, the common solution to the problem was to simply tell the parents that were having the bullied kid, well, go ahead and pull your kid out of school and put him somewhere else where they'll fit in better. There won't be any more problems like that. Today, some parents will teach their kids to just walk away, to cover up, take the abuse, call out for help, and then inform the school staff, but never get back. Anyone who tries this usually ends up being suspended themselves or bullied themselves at a greater time or later on. Most schools don't treat this problem seriously, despite the 600% increase in school shootings in the last 20 years. Across this nation, our kids are at an alarmingly increasing rate. Despondent, fearful, they're arming themselves and they're going to school. And they're taking the only action that they can visualize in their reality is going to stop their daily torment. I have committed myself to slowing this down and changing these statistics along with a few other people. In the larger schools, poor funding has created a bureaucracy around bullying which promotes a really black and white view of it. And they have a very cookie-cutter process for dealing with bullying and handling school violence. And in the majority of cases, there's unfortunately a shrinking line of demarcation between the bullies and the victims themselves. As the schools try to determine which one is which, our administrators have discovered that regardless who starts the fight, if you enact equal punitive measures on both bully and victim, you can streamline your administrative process. Each student is held equally accountable for either attacking or being victim, and as a result, the school, if they hold them equally accountable, the school generally avoids lawsuits as a result of showing favoritism to one kid or the other. The problem is that the schools become increasingly generalized with their standards. Now, the circumstances that I began with at the beginning of the speech are near and dear to me because it happened to my daughter last year. She was attacked at her school from 5 kids from a different school across town. Because she fought back, the school suspended her for willful infliction of violence on another. That's a provision that's in our education code. Now, right below that one, 69-800, is another provision that says you are able to strike your attackers, providing it's in self-defense. When I pressed the administrators with this, they simply said, well, we're not citing her under the provision that allows for self-defense. We're just, she voluntarily hit these children that were attacking her, so we got to suspend her. You see the look on your faces? That's the look I had too when they told me that. Since the police only cited one of the attackers for the cheap shots from behind and my daughter struck the initial attacker, she was equally culpable in their eyes. Since this happened 1 year ago, my wife and I have encountered a lot of similar stories. We started a Facebook page titled Stand Up for Your Children's Right to Self-Defend, hopefully to garner enough support to force the school to repeal its punitive measures they took. Since the attack was filmed, NBC News ran a series of events. Maybe some of you saw it last year, or not events, but news articles on the matter. And after a great deal of pressure from the media and the community and then the school itself, finally was forced to remove the suspension and punish the administrators who messed up. They didn't tell me exactly what they did, but they punished the principal, the vice principal, and the district representative. And despite the work we put in and removal of the suspension, neither the police who refused to arrest the attackers or the schools ever apologized for not having taken the appropriate steps or apologized. So they basically refused to tell the reporter what actions also that they plan to take to prevent this from happening in the future. Very frustrating. Very few administrators are willing to take a stand against bullying in their schools because of the fear they have of the bully's parents. If you misjudge a kid or they publicly defame them, you set yourself up in a liable situation where you can be sued. And it's almost impossible to sue the school when your kid is bullied unless there's extensive injuries, therefore they usually get away with their inaction. I have always taught my kids to not hit other kids. I've always taught them to work towards positive conflict resolution, teach them good negotiation skills. I put this in a high priority. However, I tell them also, if you are attacked violently by some other kids, I want you to take the skills that I've taught you and I want you to apply them assertively, which they've had to do a couple of times. I believe it's more useful to teach your kids to respond and leave an impression on your bullies than to invest the time and effort and finances in order to repair them in therapy years later. I also believe that if a public official allows the kids in their charge to suffer the pain and indignity of violence and the lack of self-esteem that bullying creates, I believe it's our civic duty to hold these people accountable for their actions. If simply to expedite the bureaucratic process, they, shine your kids on or just do what's most convenient for them, I don't believe they have any business representing our kids in school. So finally, I would just like everybody to realize if this were your kid and this were to happen to you, how would you expect the police and the school to respond? And if your child is attacked by a mob, would you want them to trust that the administrators and the representatives around them would come running to save them? Or would you want them to stand up and protect their right to self-defend? I shortened the news articles down to 6 minutes and I put them on a YouTube video. It's titled Santa Rosa High School Fight. You can see the shortened condensed version and the attack itself on that site. And if bullying is a concern and you want updates on what's going on in our family, what we're doing against bullying and the people we work with, we have a page on Facebook. It's entitled Stand Up for Your Child's Right to Self-Defend. Thank you very much.